In this video, we're going to be talking about the law of cosines, which helps us if we are given an oblique triangle with all sides but no angles, or like we see in example 3a, if we are given two side lengths and one angle. So all three of these equations hold true for an oblique triangle, and we want to solve triangle ABC. So it's nice here that we already have a triangle drawn for us. I'm going to fill in some of the values. So we know that capital A is 42.3 degrees. We know that lowercase b is 12.9. And we know that lowercase c is 15.4. So we don't know side length lowercase a, so I'm going to go ahead and utilize this first equation here. So we get that a squared is equal to b squared, which is 12.9 squared, plus c squared, which is 15.4 squared, minus 2 times 12.9 times 15.4 times cosine of A, which is 42.3 degrees. Wow, that's a lot. And so A is actually going to equal the square root of all of that. So just take the square root here. And let's see, let's go ahead and plug that into our calculator. It's going to be quite long, and I just want to make sure quickly that my calculator is in degrees, which it is. So I'm going to do the square root of 12.9 quantity squared plus 15.4 quantity squared minus 2 times 12.9 times 15.4 times cosine of 42.3. So you want to be careful when you're entering all of this in. It's quite long and we don't want to enter in a mistake or else we're going to get the wrong value. Great, so I'm going to round that to one decimal place to be 10.5. So we get A is 10.5. Okay, now from here, my suggestion is the only things that we need to solve for now are angle B and angle C. And as you saw, that equation, plugging that into our calculators was quite long, and it's easy to make a mistake because we have so much to enter in. So now that we've solved for side length lowercase a, my suggestion is that you, from here, use law of sines to figure out either angle B or angle C. And then once you have that figured out, the only angle you are going to have left is, or can be solved by adding up the other two angles and then subtracting that from 180 degrees. So let's go ahead and use law of sines. So I'm going to say that sine of 42.3 degrees over 10.5 is equal to, let's go ahead and solve for angle B. And you can really take your pick and choose whichever one you'd like. I like B because Bad Bunny starts with B. I don't know. Okay, so if I multiply both sides by 12.9, then I'm going to get sine of B is equal to 12.9 times sine of 42.3 degrees over 10.5. And then if I take sine inverse of both sides, we get B is equal to sine inverse of 12.9 times sine of 42.3 degrees over 10.5. So let's go ahead and throw that into our calculator. Okay, so that tells us that capital B is 55.8 degrees. And now we just have to figure out C. So we know that C is equal to 180 degrees minus 42.3 degrees plus 55.8 degrees. Okay, and so we get 81.9 degrees for C. And one thing that I just want to mention is that I absolutely, instead of using law of sines at this stage, I totally could have used law of cosines, but if you end up doing that, your numbers just might be slightly different because of rounding. So if your numbers are close to this, but like a little bit off from this and this, like do note that that's probably because of rounding error. And so we have found B, C, and lowercase a. So we have gone ahead and solved this triangle, and that concludes this example.